Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Ordinal ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We have another founder interview. We have the founder of BasedPad, not to be confused with Base Artist, two different completely projects. So BasedPad is something that's building over on Tap. Tap is Benny the dev from Trax. Amazing protocol that he's building over there. Me and Yagobi are very bullish on Tap. We are a holder of a lot of the Tap tokens and a holder of the base token as well. So take that in there. We are excited about this launchpad on Tap, which is going to be pretty cool. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what these guys do. And we were talking, we got to have these guys on the show, and they have a lot going on. They have this base token, this boost token, and there's a lot of things that go with that. So I think that's going to be really interesting. And with Benny. I think these guys talk to Benny a lot. So, and anything that Benny's kind of involved in or kind of gives that head nod to is going to be spectacular in my opinion. But without further ado, let me bring in my partner, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. Happy Sunday.
Yeah.
Happy beginnings of what seems to be possibly bull run starting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's Sunday for us, but this video will be out on Monday.
Oh yeah.
So.
Happy Monday to everybody else.
Yeah. Hope you guys are having a good start of your week. But yeah, dude, the bull run is here. It's going to be very exciting, and I think what they're building over Tap could be in a freaking explosion of.
Yeah, man. We've had Tap in a space or two, and then we were invited to be speakers in one of I think their second ever space that they held, and that was awesome that they invited us. We were thankful for that. It was just a good experience, and I think really they saw Tap whenever Benny released Tap protocol. They saw it as an opportunity to say, hey, look, let's be this first mover in terms of launchpad over there. There isn't any projects building really over there. We can kind of establish that, and then they started branding themselves, right? So
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what projects are birthed out of like their first kind of launches, right? Because like we still on Tap, I don't know many other projects that are starting to build, but I know probably there are some, right?
Yeah,
So
for sure. I mean, yeah, and just to the point of it being one of the very first projects and get the first mover advantage, which is huge. I mean, sometimes that's what you need. I mean, you can have launch pads come later, but you'll never be the first like Based is. So definitely interested
exactly.
in what they're cooking. But let's bring them in without further ado. Based, what's up, buddy?
What's up? Good morning, guys. Happy
Morning.
Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Thank you for joining us, bro.
I'm super excited to be here, and I know you guys mentioned being on our second space. You guys are both just day one back. Just was supporting us, and we're super grateful for that, and super grateful to be on the show right now. It's awesome.
Awesome, man. So we do a lot of our shows the same way. If you can kind of give us your background, maybe before crypto. Obviously, you're docs, so you can kind of say your way around that. I mean, you're not docs, but you can go around that. But kind of give us your pre crypto journey. Kind of lead us up until that, and then kind of get into your crypto journey.
Yeah. I mean, I would say ever since I was younger, I've always had kind of a passion for entrepreneurship. My grandfather owned like a small shoe store and kind of had like a small local business. But small businesses are tough and they don't make a lot of money, and it's kind of a little bit, if you don't franchise or if it's not a startup, that American dream doesn't really come from that. So I saw the work he put in, and from a young age, that kind of showed me what it's like to be an entrepreneur, the amount of work it takes. But it also showed me that, maybe owning a shoe store wasn't the best path for me. My uncle also was an entrepreneur, but he was on kind of the other side of it. He owned a pretty big maid service company that ended up becoming a franchise with hundreds of locations. And I saw kind of the other side of that. What a founder of a startup taking something from nothing that, you can build a nationwide franchise out of, and how exciting that was, how hard that is. But this is all just to say, from a young age, I've had a lot of people in my life who were founders, who were entrepreneurs. And that kind of started me on my journey of having a passion for business and, trying to found companies. And and take them off the ground, kind of take an idea and bring it into reality. I always found myself to be someone that wants to create, not kind of go, down the the normal path. I mean, I was really blessed to go to a really good business school and spoke with so many smart people. And it's just been, for me, an amazing journey, kind of just learning how entrepreneurship today is really the only way to kind of break out of the system. Um, that 9 to 5 is tough, and you give your soul to it, but you're giving your soul to someone else. And for me, it was about kind of forging my own path and building something. So outside of school, right when I got out of school, I actually went into finance. I did some time in private equity and then worked for, like an early stage investment fund. And I got a lot of experience kind of seeing like what makes a good project, which I think, maybe is foreshadowing a little bit into what I'm doing now with the launchpad. I think it's essential, for me to have that background on being able to identify companies, to vet them and do my due diligence. So that's extremely important, and something that I take from kind of past experience. After that, I then worked for 2 different tech startups, one in cybersecurity and the other in work automation. And then now, outside of what I do here with BasedPad, which it's going to be sad to go, but stuff's really starting to heat up. So I'm thinking maybe of quitting my normal job. But
Let's go.
I work for a nonprofit, so it's tough to kind of leave that.
Yeah.
Because,
Gotcha.
for me, if I'm putting work in at a 9 to 5, that's not my own project. I want it to be something that kind of benefits the world. So I'm hoping I can do that myself in crypto, either with this project or another one. But yeah, it's going to be sad to go from that because I do love the people I work with, and we're doing good. But this project is really exciting for me. I have an immense passion for it. So I think I have to kind of, bite the bullet and do it. Although it doesn't sound like hard for other people, it can be tough to leave people that you become really close friends with. But I've made new friends here and founded this, and it's just, like we were saying before the call started, like this is my life, like I get up at 5 in the morning and I'm right on Discord, just obsessed with this project. And I'm just so excited to see where it goes because I just feel the momentum behind it.
Oh yeah. That's absolutely amazing, dude. It's really cool that you're nonprofit and stuff, and it really makes me look differently at this project.
Yeah, for
Thank
sure.
you.
And also, you said something at the end there, obsessed. And I think obviously there's a healthy line of, building something of your life's work and also being able to, if you have a family and stuff like that. But, you really don't see the companies or projects that really get, huge momentum going without the founder being that crazy, like Elon Musk obsessed, right? Like you mentioned before the call.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something like when you have a company, there's no one you can go to. Like if you're the founder, there's no one you can go to be like, oh, can you take care of that? Like you are, it is like your baby, and if you're like a parent, there's no one you can go to be like, hey, my baby's crying. Like, can you take care of it? Like it's your job. It doesn't matter if it's at 3 a.m. You got to get up and do it.
Yeah.
So it's just something that becomes a part of your life where this isn't a 9 to 5 job. You're in charge of people that rely on you. You're in charge of a community that owns a stake in your company. You're kind of set at a higher moral standard to, do the best you can, to not lie to them about, hey, if you're going to say all this stuff about how great your token is and people are going to be spending, this morning, I think we're at like $750 a base. Like, well, if I'm, allowing people to pay that much money for the token, like they have to be able to trust that I'm not going to mess this up, that I'm going to be there when stuff does kind of go wrong and I'm going to try to fix it. And I think that's one of the main problems with crypto. And maybe eventually I'll dox myself. But I think one of the main problems is just that there's this, not as much for people in Web3, but people outside of it who I have so many friends in TradFi who are just like, still to this day. I mean, they're easing up because of the BlackRock ETF and stuff, but they're like, Bitcoin's a scam. There's like all these people that get rug pulled. Like, why are you in that? And I'm like, yeah, it sucks. Like, there are scammers.
Yeah.
There's scammers in the regular,
Sure.
banks get hacked all the time.
Yeah.
So, or they at least have attempted hacks. So it's not that, we have to live in a world where sadly scammers exist. But I think when people realize the financial freedom that Bitcoin can create and any crypto and Web3 can create, but if we have good founders here that are really true to themselves, people like Benny, who are like 24/7, people like Santi who are building Tap Exchange, these are like people that I think I can really trust. I want to be one of those people, and I want to be someone that people can trust and say, like, this guy's not going to rug pull. This guy's not just going to see, a bad thing's going to happen. He's just going to leave and he's going to take all the money and go. Like, I'm here for the long haul. We have a lot bigger plans for BasedPad beyond the launchpad. Like, trust me, this is like something that is a lot bigger than I think people realize. And I purposely wasn't marketing like crazy. I purposely was like, I want to build something that's so good that the marketing, like when we're ready, the marketing is going to be easy and it's going to speak for itself. A lot of these other projects, they're all marketing. They're all smoke and mirror. And I don't want to say all of them, but there's a lot of them that are like, we're going to market, the crap out of this, and then we're going to build it. Whereas like for us, we wanted to take the opposite approach to show people like, this is a long-term vision. And when you're buying, look, if you're paying $750 a base, that's a high price point and it's going to go up more.
Yeah.
So we need to be able to have something there that justifies that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. You actually pretty much hit on the point of the problem of the entire crypto and DeFi industry since its inception is accountability, right? And, I think accountability has gotten better because the communities within, especially I'm seeing it done in the Ordinal community, the best out of all the communities I've been a part of in my past, is we're kind of doing some self cleanup, right? Whenever someone comes in and they're 100% grifter, they're being called out pretty quickly. Stuff like that. More of that needs to happen. But I agree with you. I think that striving to be the founders that the community can trust will be huge for the entire space, not just your project.
Yeah. And, I think maybe there was a little bit of that. We look back at DeFi, obviously a lot of people in the space, a lot of builders, they're coming from Ethereum and DeFi, and they're like, they saw what happened there and they're like, okay, we don't want to do that again. We don't want to mess this up. Cause, I was talking to our lead dev, Higuana, about this. I mean, this was actually like maybe a conversation I had like 1 or 2 months ago about, I think history kind of does have its eyes on us. I mean, as a project, but also as Ordinals itself. And like, I think a lot of people are like, all right, this is, we're not playing around anymore. Like, this is like Bitcoin. Like, this is the chain of all chains. Like, let's not mess this one up. Like we got the test run, we got the trial run on Ethereum. Let's do it right on Bitcoin. Because this is just, Bitcoin is where I want to be building. Sorry, go ahead.
No, so like speaking of that, did you guys had something on Ethereum before, and like why do you choose Bitcoin this time?
So this project was fully launched on Bitcoin. It was never on Ethereum. I'm saying a lot of us, including myself, were kind of all in on DeFi on Ethereum.
Gotcha. Well, could you speak on that a little bit? Like, could you speak on your crypto journey and all that? Kind of go back a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, I would say so I started in like late 2020 when I discovered DeFi, and I just honestly became obsessed with it because I was like, this is just, to me, I'm a little bit of someone that's like, I guess I'm not a libertarian. I don't know, a little bit of a libertarian in the sense of like, you should have control over your money. I think the banking system, today in its current state kind of keeps a lot of people down. The average person isn't super financially literate. And I think that's like done on purpose. And I think more people, if they had true control over their money, true custody over their cash, they'd be much better off. So crypto was kind of like that outlet for that. And it was a little bit of like, it got into my just core beliefs of being able to control your own funds. But also I saw just the explosion of what was going to happen on DeFi. And I was so excited about, having these crazy staking rewards and, eventually NFTs and all this stuff. So in the beginning, I was really just like an investor. I did have kind of like a very small, like one-off, like one of one NFTs that like project that I had. And I was trying my hand at like artistry. I'm by no means an artist, but it was like an 8-bit like thing. So it wasn't too difficult. But that's kind of when I got into NFTs and I started like really exploring that. And I happened to go to school with Ryoshi, who's the co-founder of Shiba Inu, and I became a NFT consultant for him, and we were working on a project together. And then I would say, for that was kind of like the biggest thing I did in DeFi. For the most part, most of my work is done in like the traditional finance world, or it was just done in, like the real world. But I think, like working with Ryoshi was kind of like the biggest thing that I was able to do. And that was awesome because he knew people that like knew Banksy, and I was like getting to talk to all these people, and like we were talking to like people in Hollywood. I mean, I'm not going to dox him obviously, but he's like a really like big, he's a pretty prominent figure like in the real world, like in terms of like TradFi and stuff. So he was like very well connected, and I got to talk to some pretty cool people. But that kind of also showed me what like a really good network does. And, having that network can really make or break your company, and also how easy it is, like when you're starting from scratch, it's so difficult when you don't know anyone in the space and you're alone and people don't trust you. When you're a guy like that, you have the network to kind of propel your ideas. And that's just something that you have to work on. Like that's what people strive their entire life to do. But eventually, if you put in like the work and stuff, you'll have that network to grow. So he taught me a lot just about kind of the more intangible things that makes a company really run. It's definitely partly the utility behind the token. It's the, for us, it's the launchpad, it's the code. But the other part of it is like the human aspect of it, being able to network with people, talk with people. And that's kind of what I've been, I think bringing to the table with like my team is just trying to find the best people, identifying the best people that also have their own networks. I'm someone that I would say is like, there's a lot of big egos in this space sometimes. And I think like one of the main problems is a lack of trust. Like a lot of founders, they want to do everything, and they have trouble giving up the reins of the company. For me, like I think like my biggest, or what has made me the most successful, is just being able to delegate. I find people that are really good. I really believe in our team. Like we have some really talented people, and I let them, if you're good at coding, like, you handle that. Like I'm not a developer. I'm not going to pretend like I know, and just kind of can be super controlling. I think as founders, one of the best things we can do is delegate to people that really know their stuff. Like find experts in your field and let them kind of take over those specific areas. So sorry, I went off on a tangent, but that is kind of like, I think what is making BasedPad so successful, at least internally so far, has just been, we have some really great people on our team, and we're building a network that's going to, I think, really propel us into, the next phase of our journey.
Awesome. So when did you identify that Ordinals was something that could be something, like the next thing? And then after you came into Ordinals, when did you decide, okay, Tap is where we need to build?
Yeah, it's funny. So I was all in on Ethereum up until basically early spring of this year. And I got into Bitcoin not because of ordinals, actually. I originally got into Bitcoin because I was hearing all these rumblings about a spot ETF, and just kind of like with my finance background, understood like the implications of that. Like how I don't think I think people now are starting to realize like how big that is. But when we talk about pent up demand from institutional investors and corporations, like this is going to be really big.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, the amount of pain that to for a company to get a board approval to like buy Bitcoin, and have custody over in their wallet and all this stuff and go through all this like legal regulation, it's a lot. But
Mm.
for if it's just a spot ETF, it's the same as just buying, stock. So I mean,
Mhm.
this is going to make Bitcoin go crazy. So to make a long story short, that's why I was like the macroeconomic narrative changed. And so then I started looking into Bitcoin. I'm like, I own it now. So let's really dive deep into it.
Hell yeah.
I feel like I was pretty late to the party because not with Tap, but for ordinals in general, I actually really didn't get into ordinals until the summer.
Wow.
And Block Runner was actually how I discovered Track, and I instantly got into it, and I felt like I was like just transplanted into this like brand new world of what DeFi was on Ethereum back in 2020 or early 2021. I'm like, I feel like this is it. Like I saw the growth, from the relatively from the beginning of DeFi, and I was like, all right, this feels the same, but it's on Bitcoin, so it's going to be even bigger. And I got really excited about it. And I was just like, so the great thing about early days of DeFi, great thing about the early days of Ordinals, is you are attracting people that really know their stuff. And what you'll see is like as DeFi like went on in time, it got more of like a saturated market. We had like a lot more scammers, a lot more just like NFT projects that were, just not that had zero utility behind it. Everyone was trying to make a buck. But when you were like early days of DeFi, it was like there's so many coders, there's so many smart investors, so many just like talented people, because to even find the place, to even find DeFi in itself was like a barrier to entry. And you had this like high density of just like great minds all together, which was like, for me, it was like how I got this amazing team. It was like, I just put out like a Google form asking people like, hey, are you interested in kind of what we're building over here? Like, let me know if you'd want to join. And then like all these
Yeah.
people who are like working at Fortune 500 companies in their own right, like really talented, successful people are just messaging me like, hey, I'd love to join this. I really like what you're doing. So I kind of piggybacked a little bit off of like what Benny was doing with Track, but I didn't find Track until around the same time that I found Ordinals. Like Track got me into Ordinals actually.
Yeah.
And when Tap came out, so I missed really though, like a lot of like the main problems that we were experiencing in the spring. Like I was playing catch up and reading all the stuff, but I was like, we hit this huge market cap, but then there was a limitation because like, hey, no one could do anything, but then transfer tokens or like deploy it or mint. So it was just like, okay, there's a clear problem with ordinals. There's a clear roadblock here. Like people saw the potential and then it just fizzled out because there's just like, well, what are we going to do? We're just going to do fair mints and then trade between each other. Like that's not going to create OrdFi.
Yeah.
And then when I found what Benny was doing with, actually less about the value of Track, more about the value of Tap protocol. And I was like, okay, this guy's actually building something that can become the impetus to OrdFi. So we're going to have a token airdrop feature. We're going to have token auth feature that enables staking and all that stuff. And it was through that I really got excited because I saw someone answering the main roadblock
Yeah.
that caused the market to fizzle out in the spring. I'm like, okay, this guy's building something that's actually the solution. So that's what really got me, one, attracted to the track ecosystem. And then that's what got me building on Tap, because I was like, this is the answer to our problems. Benny's coming and kind of saving the market. I know other protocols are doing it, but Benny was like the first to do that. And I think, like people say all the time, like first is first. And we're seeing it with the price of track. Tap token's not even out yet.
Yeah.
When that's released to the public, I personally feel like it's going to be worth way more than Pipe, because Pipe doesn't have the functionality Tap does. So
we're definitely Tap guys. We're not like focused on Pipe at all, especially being Ordinal Revolution. So we're definitely with you on that.
Yeah, man. Great breakdown of why you came into the space. I think you definitely targeted the right project. And in terms of like track and then the ecosystem with Tap. Okay, so looking on your website, I see that you guys are planning to launch Q1. Is that looking more towards the end of Q1, beginning or middle, or is that still kind of TBD?
Yeah, I don't want to put the cart ahead of the horse, but I think definitely early Q1. We're working really hard to get this out, because there's some stuff we can't talk about publicly yet, but if it all goes well, I think the timing's going to be really right for some exciting stuff. So we want to do this as soon as possible. So I'm going to say early Q1. I don't want to get people's hopes up and say earlier, but I would say at least like January of Q1, I think would be a really good time frame for us.
Nice.
So you guys just did a brand change, and that's something that we did as well about like a couple months ago. Why'd you go from Based on Tap to BasedPad?
Yeah, I'd love to answer that. So I don't know if you mentioned it earlier in the show, and I wanted to address this because because you guys were talking about, well, is anyone actually building on Tap? So we definitely have like an affinity towards the Tap ecosystem. We of course love Benny. We're going to support any project that wants to build on Tap. That helps us out. That helps out Tap Exchange and all that. But what we wanted to move away from was the idea that we can only support projects on Tap. I mean, that's so Based and Boost are tokens that are built off of the Tap protocol, but we can support a project on any Bitcoin protocol. I mean, theoretically, we can support a project on any protocol, but we want to focus on Bitcoin protocols. So it doesn't have to be a token that's on Tap. It could be a BRC20 token, an Atomical token. I think there are other ones like SRC20. So we can work with any protocol, and we can work with runes. We can work with Pipe. Like the sky's the limit in terms of what projects we can handle. So we wanted to move away from, I think a lot of people, when they saw Based on Tap, they thought, oh, this launchpad only works with Tap tokens. Like that's not true. We work with all. So although we're very still aligned with Benny, we're in constant contact with him, we're in constant contact with Tap Exchange. We wanted to make it clear that this is a launchpad built on Bitcoin for Bitcoin protocols, and it's not beholden to Tap, alone.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty smart, honestly, because first of all, when it comes to launchpads being the main focus of previous launchpad protocols, I feel like there hasn't been one that has like really stood out and said, hey, we're owning this market. You have launchpads on Magic Eden, Gamma, but they're primarily focused on NFT sides, right? Not token really. And so what this does by you guys rebranding, kind of saying, hey, look, our focus is to just grow the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. I think it's better for you and it's better for the ecosystem. So good move, in my opinion, on that.
Yeah, thank you. And, I think one of the main things is just sadly, at this moment, we're just so early that there's not enough people building, especially just on Tap, to do this. We want to have this project be successful. I think we have I think we have something lined up for a really good first launch. But in terms of like a constant funnel of new projects, we can't just be on tap. Like we'd be waiting forever. We need to be looking at all different types of protocols on Bitcoin because there's just not enough builders here. Now that's going to change, I think, really quickly. I mean, we're entering a bull run, I would say, as you mentioned earlier in the show, and it does feel like, when that happens, then we have institutional investors come in, VCs are just looking to give money to someone. And I think there's a lot of people who will see that opportunity in Bitcoin and they're just going to start building what they build on Ethereum. I don't like people just like copying stuff, but in terms of infrastructure, it's like a country, building roads, or it's like not, it's infrastructure. Like you have to copy it because it's essential to the ecosystem. The same way a launchpad and exchange, like people are going to build those. So we need, the bull run to happen to get people really excited. They're going to be a little late to the party, which is why we're very happy building now. But, that's going to be, I think, the biggest challenge for us is just actually finding people who are building, because we know it's going to happen, but we don't know how long it's going to take. I think it will be soon though. So
yeah. So how do you view the wallets with that kind of approach, right? Because like I'm looking at it kind of like this, with MetaMask on traditional EVMs, you switch the network and then update the RPC, right, to match that network, but you can do it all in there, right? But from an application level, like Uniswap, you can change the network as well, right, and match it with your wallet. So are you thinking like EVM chains are going to be like, because I can view like a dominating wallet having like these meta protocols being able to switch in the wallet, and then you on the BasedPad being able to switch the meta protocol that you want to use for that token. Does that make sense? Is that where you guys are kind of going with this?
Yeah, so for now with the MVP, we'll be working, I think, without like third-party exchanges essentially to help facilitate these. We don't want to get involved, at least for now, with like having custody of people's funds. We want to kind of mitigate the risk on our level, and maybe this is a good time to get into kind of like the way the staking is going to work.
Yeah, sounds good.
So essentially, like we were like, how can we do this in a way? We saw basically an exchange get hacked, and that kind of was like a reminder to us, like, hey, if we don't have to hold people's funds in our wallet, like we don't want to, but we still want to enable staking. So there's something called liquid staking, which basically just checks to see if you're holding the token in your wallet. We're gonna probably make sure that you're connecting your wallet to the website first. Like if someone, let's say an exchange was holding a ton of Boost, they're not really a real user. They're just like an exchange holding it that was having it to facilitate liquidity. So they probably wouldn't apply to this, but we're going to have basically liquid staking where all you have to do is just connect your wallet. You don't have to send the funds anywhere though. We're basically just perpetually checking your wallet to see that you're continuing to hold it. The longer you hold it, obviously you'll get like more of a return for in the form of Boost. So by holding Boost and connecting your wallet to our website, which you would probably be using Xverse or Unisat, because it's built on tap. So we have a way to check people's wallets in perpetuity to see if they're holding Boost or Based. And then from that, we can basically establish you into a specific tier level. And then we can also pay out staking rewards, but it never leaves your wallet. You always have custody over your tokens.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's something that we're really excited about because not only is it's just a all around better solution. You don't have to pay fees to move the tokens. It's always in your wallet. We don't have to take on the responsibility of like holding a wallet with just like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of tokens.
Quick question. So like, doesn't the token now just become a dump token, like that you guys are giving for the stakings? And like, how does that token is able to hold value if people are just like receiving it and dumping it because next week it could be lower?
Yeah. So, so part of the reason why you would hold it, I mean, is because you don't want to sell it because you're like getting staking rewards.
But you're getting
The
staking off the base token, right? And you're getting boost in the for that reward.
well, so you're actually getting, you're not staking based. So okay, there's a little bit, it's
Yeah,
a
I'm
little bit
sorry.
more complicated. So maybe let's back up to like what the tier levels are.
Okay.
So regardless of staking. So right now we're going to offer staking where you actually get a return. In the future, we might not offer staking because there's enough value there where we don't really have to offer it. But because we're
Staking
in the
what
very
though?
beginning,
What am
staking
I staking?
boost.
Staking boost. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
staking boost. So you're staking boost, then get more boost in return.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay.
But basically, so we're gonna have tier levels. This is how a lot of launch pads work on other platforms. So, well, here, let me back up even more. So there's based and boost token.
Yeah.
Base token powers our community, and we have basically airdrops for that. A gated community in our Discord. We're gonna start. We're gonna have like live in-person events and all that good stuff. I think that's more the real value of based. Also comes from the boost airdrop that you'll receive to get you started. So then for boost is the token that powers the launchpad. The launchpad, the way that you get whitelisted, the way that you get the ability to have allocation into the project is by owning boost. Because it's liquid staking, all you have to do is connect your wallet. You don't have to put it anywhere. As long as you hold X amount of boost, you fall within a staking tier. Those tiers then tell you basically how much of an allocation you get. So by staking or by just owning boost, really, the more boost you own, the higher the whitelist allocation you get. So you don't want to sell your boost because then you're going to be put out of the tier level, and then you're not going to have, guaranteed whitelist basically on like the way that you access the launchpad is by having boost in your wallet.
Okay.
So you not only get staking rewards for owning boost, like you literally get more boost just by holding boost, but then you also get put into a staking tier. Now the top staking tiers require you to own at least one based and boost.
Okay.
So that's what's going to give. So like a lot of people are paying a lot of money for based. Why are they spending so much money on based? It's because the one base not only gets you all the stuff with like the community, but it also gets you into the top tier of the launchpad.
Gotcha.
It also gets you in the future a based NFT airdrop. So there's only 1,000 based right now. What we're doing is we want to expand because we want to create like exclusivity. We want to make sure that this community is like something that's hard to get into. We want to limit the amount of people that can get in. So what we're doing is we're expanding the community slowly over time with the size of the greater market. So base tokens will be airdropped in the form of like art, and that art will have the same utility as the base token. Eventually we'll reach a community of the size of 10,000. To ensure that we're not diluting your shares, every time we add one based, you get one base. We're never selling based, actually. Like if you own a based and then we go from 1,000 to 2,000, each holder of based gets an equivalent amount of based airdrop to them. So if you own one, you're going to get another one. That way they can then you can sell it to someone else. The idea is that, in an economically perfect world, you would say, okay, if the supply is 1,000 and the price is 1,000, if we double the supply, price is going to drop to 500. Now that's still not a problem because you actually own both tokens. So you are just back to 1,000. But we don't live in an economic world like that. The price really, like realistically, won't drop to 500. Maybe it drops to 750. So you would actually have two tokens now that are worth 750, and then you'd like net $500 because we're going to wait until demand is so pent up, but the price is just too high for people to access it. And then that's when we do the airdrop. So you're going to have like a flood of people wanting to buy based because it was just like the barrier to entry was just too high for the normal person, but they're willing to spend somewhere in between the 500 and 1,000. Like they're always going to pay more because it's now more easily accessible. So there's more people in the market that can afford it. So that's kind of where we're going with like Based. It's going to be like an art NFT airdrop, but it's also essential to be put into a tier for the launchpad.
You're on mute, Shizzy.
Yeah, I got you.
Awesome. Awesome,
So
man.
I know that was like a lot, and it gets like, I think when we're putting stuff out, when you have like visuals, I'm trying to like explain a chart like or a table here, so it is like tough. But
No, I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say no. I mean, I think you explained it.
Yeah, I got it.
Fine.
Good.
Yeah. I think the audience should be able to get that. You know, like you said, what I'm kind of hearing is some a type of structure that's similar to launch pads from the like other chains, right? So being the first here is going to be a big deal. And I think really just handling communication and stuff like that is going to be very, very important, like to the community. Because we've seen launch pads in the past that just really, you know, like you said, it was all marketing hype, right? There was no product, but it doesn't seem like that's the case with you guys. It seems like you guys are, you know, working hard and have like dates and stuff, that timelines that you guys are trying to hit.
Yeah, we definitely have like a much greater like long-term vision for this. I think the timing, you know, we didn't like really plan it. I wish we had we did have foresight in the sense of like we knew eventually people would find out about Tap. We knew, you know, I knew back in spring like a bull run's coming, but I didn't know like when it was coming. It just so happens that it's coming right around the launch of our launchpad. So it's really exciting to like be here. I think it would be really stupid to leave. Not that I would even do it if the timing wasn't right, but like I don't know why anyone would leave. You know, like we have a great user base already that continues to grow. We have great like devs and the code's basically like ready to go live. Like there's no reason for us to leave. There's a lot of really exciting stuff happening. We're super excited. And I think we'll all make a lot of money together if you own Based. And one of the things that I'm going to provide you guys with some alpha that we haven't released yet is so to talk more about the Based airdrop with Boost. So everyone's always asking me like, how do I get Boost? How do I get Boost? Because in reality, Boost is going to be the token that, you know, Based is going to have a big market cap. Like I have full faith in that, but I think Boost will have an even bigger market cap because the barrier to entry is so low. You know, like the price point barrier is so low. So what we're gonna do is, if you own 1 to 2 Based, you know, at the time of the airdrop, you're gonna get enough Boost to automatically be in the 3rd highest tier. So you're automatically in the 3rd highest tier. That means like the lower tiers aren't always guaranteeing whitelists. Like the lowest tier, 2 tiers are more of like a raffle based. That's like if you own like very little Boost. If you're in the top, you know, 3 tiers, that one requires you to own at least 1 Based, but it's a pretty sizable amount of Boost to get. And we're going to release those numbers like later, but this is just kind of on the airdrop. So if you own 1 to 2, you get put in the 3rd highest tier. If you own 3 to 4, you get automatically enough Boost to be in the 2nd highest tier. And if you own 5 or more, you get put into the top tier. And that's a pretty like sizable amount of Boost if you just own 1 Based. But if you were here early and you have 5 or more, you're automatically going to be put into the top tier. So we're really excited about what that's going to do for the base price. I mean, it's at 750 right now, and we haven't released any of that information yet. So I think people who are looking for Boost will be very happy if they own a Based. We also will be doing, though, a token sale at some point in the future for Boost. And, you know, that's something that's more, I think, down the road. But for now, the only way to get Boost is by owning Based. So I would suggest getting it as soon as possible, because I think once we really go live with this, like, there might be a feeding frenzy on Based. And I mean, our biggest problem with Based is people not wanting to sell, which is like a crazy problem to have. But
Yeah.
With a small supply of 1,000. All these people are just like diamond hands, like they don't want to hold. And I mean, I wouldn't want to sell either. I mean, I haven't sold because it's
Yeah.
like it went from $200 to $750 in like a few weeks. So
Yeah.
I think we're gonna move even higher.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And like when you have a supply as low as 1,000, I think from like someone that is in crypto, the project really has to show and convince the public of the value of that, right? Because like 1,000 can really, if you have real value with 1,000 supply token, that can get crazy really quick.
Yeah.
And so speaking of that, I think this is a good transition, and I appreciate you explaining everything about Base to our community. That was a really good job. But like one thing that has happened recently is Ordinals wallet started listing Base protocol tokens, and the Base token being one of them. I see 4 sales here, and it's only been like 2 days, I think, since they launched.
Could you actually show that, Yagobi?
Yeah, let me actually show that real quick. What are your thoughts on Ordinals wallet being the first to do this? And then do you think that's like a good thing, or do you feel like, okay, we need Ordinals wallet could take this market, or we need like one that's solely focused on tap protocol?
Yeah, I mean, I think we need both. We were so happy and felt so blessed to have Ordinals wallet do that. And it's really funny. It was a complete surprise to Benny as well. And I think there's been though some technical difficulties. I heard like people saying they like listed tokens, and I don't see it in the for sale. So I don't know if they just didn't do it right, or if there was just still some kinks they need to iron out. But I think Ordinal wallet is like super smart for doing this, and to do it so secretly. I think they purposely didn't tell Benny because I don't know like Benny. I don't know if Benny really even has a relationship with them, but I would say like they probably didn't want Benny telling Unisat or any other wallet that they were doing this. Like they wanted to be first, so they kept this close to their chest. But I think what I'm trying to do with Ordinals wallet is getting them to list Boost once we go live with that, because I think they're going to make way more money off of Boost in terms of fees. Based is like low and slow. Like it's big transactions, but because they're big, you're not getting a lot of or you're not getting a lot of frequency or volume in terms of sales. When we do Boost, like that's going to be their money maker. So I'm trying to get in contact with them to start working on that, so it's ready for when we do the airdrop. Because I think like when that happens, like they're going to make a lot of money off of that.
Off of the fees.
Off of the fees, yeah. I think they charge like 2.75%. So it's a little high, but like once Unisat starts doing it, once Tap Exchange goes live, and like of course, like we're buddies with Santee. Like I want to support my boy here with Tap Exchange. But they're building something from the ground up. Ordinals wallet just had to like integrate something. So but I have full faith in Santee, and I'm excited to kind of have like a tap native exchange help do this for us. But for the time being, we are very grateful for what Ordinals wallet did. It put our name out there, which is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And you can see the very first sale was crazy. It was like $2,118. And I think someone was just like really FOMOing, trying to get one. And then the second one, it kind of went down to, I think what we more expect is that 800 was still a little bit high. And then it kind of ranged down to like 430. And then now it's like the last sale was like at 550. So, that this is all, and for what you said the volume really isn't that much. It isn't, but it is in terms of across what the tap tokens are doing. I think Base might be like number 3 or 4 in terms of total volume of actual number of sales. So that was the reason why also I was like, okay, maybe we do need an exchange that focuses more just on tap, because then the volume would increase, because you can kind of get lost through all the other stuff on Ordinal wallet.
Yeah, and that's why what Tap Exchange is building, and it's fun. I mean, Tap.exchange token isn't even their token. They don't have a token, but what they're building is, I think, going to be big. I mean, Track, if you owned any Track, you made a lot of money this past week. And I think that's just, I think about like Uniswap and like getting in on that token at $3, and then like you saw where that went, and it's like, oh, Track might go even higher. And so like if you're in on Track right now, even if you were buying it now at $3, and this isn't financial advice, but in the long term, like $3, I feel like it's gonna be nothing. Like we're really like
Early
we're
birds.
still so early. People have no idea like what it even is yet. So and then you know, the same way that Bitcoin, you know, carries like Track and Ordinals and then carries us, like same thing's going to happen with Track. You know, when Track pumps, then Tap gets all the eyes on it, and then everyone that's building on Tap gets floated up too. So it's just going to be, we're in for an exciting Q1 of 2024, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited. Definitely am. So what do you feel about, like, you know, obviously you're big on Tap. Are you big in anything else in this space that's not Tap? Are you familiar with projects? Are you investing in anything personally?
To be honest, and maybe this isn't a good thing, but I'm like all in on Track and Tap just because, you know, I just am so like heads down building right now. I'm like always on Twitter, like looking at stuff, and I'm just like, I don't have time to like, I'm like building my own thing. I don't even care, you know, like
I got you.
I'm just
that's a good answer for a good founder, in my opinion, because we've had a couple of founders that gave that exact answer. I remember Butoshi was like, I was like, man, were you like killing it with your portfolio in the beginning when you were about to launch the, you know, Bitcoin boost? And he was like, bro, I didn't have time. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So, well, I mean, I got into like a lot of Tap tokens like early, and a few of those just got value. I mean, I like that, but to be honest, I'm not like the biggest like pro meme coin guy, which I'm hoping I can exemplify with like the amount of utility I want to put into both of my tokens. But I don't like the pump and dump schemes, and I'm not saying they are. Like these are just people who like put really great names on tokens, like OrdFi. Like that was genius. Like I wish I had that idea. But you know, it's like it just shows that like literally a name of a token provides enough value to like pump it to like a market, like a crazy market cap.
Like rats.
Yeah, like rats. Like,
dude,
what?
Did you see the market cap on rats?
What is it?
I don't know what it is right now. What is it?
No, I'm talking about like 2 days ago. I think it hit its all-time high at like 94 or something, 94 million.
And a token called Rats. It's insane.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's crypto in a nutshell.
Yeah, it is crypto, but I think more than anything, it's showing that the outside communities are starting to realize that, hey, you know, a Bitcoin ecosystem is going to be the focus. Because like last run in the summer, you didn't see stuff like Rats get to that crazy. Maybe like 20 million, 15 for a meme, like straight up meme, you know. But anyways.
Yeah, man. Well, all right, man. It's been an amazing show. This is a part of the show where we kind of give you the stage to talk to our community about really anything you want, man. This stage is yours.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, just one, thank you, Shizzy and Yagobi, for bringing me on. As I said earlier, you guys were like here from day one. You always had our back, and it's just been, you know, it's just been a wild ride. Like it's kind of surreal for me, like seeing the growth we've had, and more so just in the past week. I mean, we knew, you know, internally as a team, like how big this was going to be, but then like we weren't really releasing anything. And then I feel like this past week we're starting to get, you know, the recognition my team deserves, because we've been working super hard. And we just want to thank like Benny and Santi and the rest of the guys in the Tap protocol for all of their support. I mean, Benny's just like, he's an all-star. Like he has no ego. He's on all the time. He's helping us out. He's constantly like answering questions for us. He's just like all in on this, and that motivates us to be all in on this. And as I said earlier, expect early Q1 for the launchpad to come out. Base token is out right now. If you own Base, we're going to start kind of announcing an airdrop soon. And we're going to provide more details on the tiering system and kind of what you get from the airdrops, but I think you'll be pretty happy with what you get. So if you want to take a chance on us and buy Base now, I think that'd be a smart move before we, you know, buy the rumor. But yeah, we're just really excited to see what happens with the bull run. And if you have a project and you want to get it off the ground, you know, come to us. We'll take you from idea, all the way from if you're in the ideation phase to ready to launch. What we could kind of help you along the way. We're more than just kind of like a launch pad in the sense like we want to bring your token, to sell your token. Like we want to actually help builders. I mean, that's kind of maybe where the nonprofit in me comes out, is like, I just love this space. Like I want to see it grow, and we want to create a mechanism that allows that. But we also, like, if you don't have a team together, but you have like a really good idea, or if you need like a specific person, like you need something before you launch the token, like we're also here to help you with that. And that's really where the base community side comes in. There's, when we're thinking about like synergies between the token, like Based and Booster, like sister tokens, Based will create kind of the accelerator program, the community that allows you to build the foundation for your product, the foundation for your token before you launch. Because like I said, I don't like meme coins. I want to, only launch stuff that has like real utility, that's here, that's good for investors. So if you have anything out there that like you want to get your idea off the ground, like please come to us, like reach out to me. I think, if I'll send you my links and maybe you could post them, but
yeah, definitely.
If anyone wants to reach out to us, we just released our project application form. So we're the launch pad's on the horizon. We're ready for that. So we would love for you to come to us and we can have a conversation. But yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. It's been an awesome show. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot, man. We'll definitely have to have you on again once the boost is about to drop, man. We're definitely looking
I
forward
love
to
that.
So.
I love that.
Awesome.
All right. Well, you have a great rest of your Sunday, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Buddy.
Have a good one. Bye.
All right. See you.
Absolutely amazing. I really like what those guys are doing over there, man. It's exciting to see projects actually building and not just rats meme coin, right?
Yeah. We've heard about them for quite some time now. Since the TAP protocol was a popular thing, and they jumped on that pretty quick. So really cool that they're kind of rebranded and open to Bitcoin ecosystem really protocols, right? So I'm excited to see what the launchpad looks like. Again, I want to see and have it live and stuff before I can make a final assessment. I think that's a fair thing. I don't know, but
I agree.
So
all right, guys. Definitely hit the like, hit the subscribe. Really appreciate you guys. Every listen really means a lot to us. If you cannot watch, you can definitely listen. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify. Definitely hop over there, check those out as well when you're driving or just doing your thing. We appreciate you guys.
Yep, appreciate all the support, and we will catch y'all next time. Peace.